See, Virgil, how do you see that point on the road?
Yeah, obviously a bit disappointed, but yeah, we fight. We had chances to win the game, and we took a bit of risk in the end. So obviously you got more open at times. So, yeah, take the point. We move on and focus on a big one on the weekend again.
You went ahead through Mo Salah, capitalising on a Villa mistake. But did you feel like it was hard to find a flow and a rhythm in that first half?
I think in possession we did quite well. I think we created good opportunities to score the second. Unfortunately, we didn't. So disappointing to concede from a set piece. Yeah, I think we tried everything tonight, and unfortunately, it wasn't enough for 3 points.
It wasn't, but you did manage to find the equaliser. How crucial was that? You just never gave up that belief tonight.
Yeah, I think well deserved. And even after that, we should have scored 3-2. But listen, credit to Aston Villa as well today. Made it very difficult for us, like they always do actually. So now we move on. We move on to the next one, and we have to keep fighting, keep going, and yeah, let's see what it brings.
Yeah, how exhausting is this period of time in the minute? Because that's sort of the second game in a row that you've had that has been physical. Obviously, the Merseyside derby was quite an emotional game as well.
Yeah, listen, it's the Premier League, so it's physical for everyone, for Aston Villa as well, for us, for all the other teams as well, and that's part of the game. I think obviously we know we have a very tough one on the weekend again. Then we play Newcastle during the week again, and then we have a weekend obviously where we have no games, unfortunately, because of the FA Cup. So our focus now will be on Man City. Very, very difficult game. We all know that. But we have to fight. We have to fight for each and every second on the pitch to win games, to get the points on the board, and that's the only task we have. Focus on ourselves. It's never easy. It's easier said than done, but that's the only way to get success. Focus on yourself and do everything in your power to win games, and that was today the focus. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the 3 points, but the focus will definitely be that on Sunday again. And we need everyone in their best shape, players, fans, and let's see what it brings.
Virgil, thanks so much for talking. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Virgil in that post-match talking to Becky Ives, and the word he kept using, Danny, was fight.
Yeah, I mean, there was some fight there, of course, and resilience when you go 2-1 down to come back and make the chances they did. But I think he'll be he seemed disappointed to me, and I understand why. It's a tough place to go, and I think if you play in any game of football and you make the clear-cut chances Liverpool made and you don't win, you're always going to feel disappointed. But he's right. You've got to focus just on Sunday now. Huge game for them. Huge game at Man City.
And to focus on themselves was also key for him. Psychologically, though, as I mentioned, when we were looking at the table, they'd always had a game in hand, were always behind, and now are ahead. That changes things a little bit, doesn't it? They've played a game more.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if Arsenal can beat West Ham at the weekend, you would all expect them to. But now the pressure's over to Arsenal. Do your job. You know, like I said at the top of the show, I think they have to take maximum points to win this Premier League. It's going to be very, very difficult for them to do. But like I say, Villa played very well today to stop them taking maximum points. And I thought on the balance of play, Villa pretty much deserved it.
Well, we're going to go back to Villa Park and find out how they feel about the draw. And for that, we're joined now pitch side by Yuri Tielemans. Yuri, thank you so much for your time. Great to be speaking to you. Just share your thoughts on the 90 minutes tonight and how you feel about the point.
Yeah, I think it's always a good point against Liverpool, but I feel like we could have had more, especially towards the back end with our chances.
And about your goal as well, the one that equalised, that was the first shot on target and you made it count. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I mean, our set pieces have been really good, and I think that I stayed in there in the box, tried to pick up the second ball, which I tried to hit into the net, and very happy.
Youri, you've had a great season personally. What is the target for this Villa side? You have a massive game at the weekend against Chelsea. What is the target? To get back into the Champions League, obviously?
Yeah, definitely. We always want to be in there, to be in the mix with those teams that compete for the Champions League. And we know this season is really hard. All the teams around us have a lot of quality, and we know that we have to be maybe a bit more consistent to get in there and to be a bit higher in the league. But I think with the performance tonight, we can be happy and we can move forward with that.
Youri, Tim was just talking about your great season. You have been one of Villa's best players, but when you tweak your roles sometimes we see you more deep, getting the ball off the back players. Sometimes we see you further forward, linking up with the forwards. Do you have a preference in which role you play?
I just like to be involved in the game, to be honest. Whether it's higher up or deeper, it just depends on what the manager needs in that game. And so far, I've done really good. I think I can always get better, obviously, but yeah, I'm really happy with the personal performances.
Youri, just your assessment on your opponents tonight. This Liverpool side, obviously top of the table by 8 points. You were involved in 90 minutes, tough 90 minutes against them. Just how good are they? What's so great about them?
Well, any action is dangerous with them. You have to be aware every second ball, and you can just tell the quality that they have. With half chance, it just becomes a goal. So you always have to be on your toes, and I think we did that really well tonight. Apart from, unfortunately, the 2 goals that we conceded, and they punish you straight away.
Youri, is your opinion that you've taken a point off the champions tonight?
Yeah, well, I think, like I said, I feel like we could have had more, especially towards the back end of the game where we created some chances. We tried to push for a 3rd goal. But yeah, they're a really good side and they're up there for a reason.
Youri, before we let you go, we need a prediction. How many more Premier League goals are you getting this season?
Yeah, I don't do that, sorry.
Youri,
hopefully many more.
We have one
Youri,
more.
sorry, just a quick one on the new players who've come in. How impressed have you been with the new players? Because they look to have settled really quickly.
Yeah, they settle in really quickly. They've been working really hard since the first day that they've come in, and they have a really good mentality. They try to improve the team. They have fresh legs, big energy, and that's what we needed.
Oh, thank you so much for your time, Youri. Great to be chatting to you.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Take care.
Yuri Tielemans with the opening goal, with the equalising goal tonight, the opening goal for Villa. They got 2, Liverpool got 2 as well. Didn't want to give us a prediction for how many more you would get this season, but you've both said he's done fantastically well so far.
I think it's a dream for a manager because I think he understands, however your manager wants to play, I think he understands it. He really does, and I think he helps on the pitch. When you send him on the pitch, he has the brains to be able to implement it and help his teammates around it. And he, for me, is the reference in this side. You know, whether he's playing as an 8, whether he's playing as a 6, he knows his role and he knows everyone else around him's role as well. So he's an absolute manager's dream, really is.
Do you know the big thing with him? I mean, obviously he was talented at Leicester, you know, the winner in the Cup fight. He's done some brilliant things and he's always been technically good. But Unai Emery's got him super fit. He lasts the games, he plays every few, very rarely leaves him out, and he can get up and down now, and he's good without the ball. That was used at Leicester. I think there was question marks about his defensive work. You don't see that now. Brilliant performance. He was really good. He was their best player for me.
So he got the goal that made it 1-1. Let's take you back to the beginning. The opening goal of the game came from Mo Salah, and it came on the half-hour mark. Let's look at it. Let's look at the mistake in the build-up to it and how they capitalised, Tim.
Yeah, they just set a trap and they're pressured well, very aggressive in their press, but it was poor play from Villa. And Jota just gives him an easy goal, really, just puts it on the plate, just waiting for that chance, and the timing of the pass is great, gives him no control problems. He goes so high with this. I think he takes a little bobble, look, just there. You know, he has to lift it up and high into the net. You don't expect him to miss chances like that. And it gave him a great start, but you have to give credit to Villa. Never got their heads down, just kept going forward.
So 24 goals this season so far, most goals for Liverpool in a Premier League season. He is chasing his own record, is Mo Salah, of 32. He continues to break records. Tonight's goal was number 15 away in the Premier League. That is the most in a season for Liverpool, breaking Luis Suarez's record. It's unbelievable. Every week he's breaking records. We're running out of superlatives, out of ways to describe him.
Yeah, I think he's going to be really important from now to the end of the season, but he looks really sharp. I mean, Tim and I were watching him during the game. Some of his hold-up play, his strength, his willingness to keep running in behind. The fact that Villa had to sub the left-back tells you everything. He'd exhausted him. Yeah. They took Dini off, and Salah's going to be huge the next 2 months for Liverpool. Huge.
Yeah, and obviously we know all about his physique. Yeah. We know all about how he keeps himself fit.
No carbs, isn't it?
No carbs?
Apparently he stopped the carbs.
Well, he don't look like it. When he takes his shirt off, he don't look like he's had many to me.
He reminded me.
Tyrone Mings looked all right and all there coming off.
Reminded me of you in the dressing room earlier.
These guys these days, I mean, I don't know why they put shirts on. I mean, they look so good. Mo Salah's no exception.
Yellow card for you anyway. Mo Salah, obviously the physique and the fitness, as you mentioned. We just saw it in the Liverpool side that requires such hard running as well.
I just think he's just such a threat all of the time. He can have such a quiet game, and then all of a sudden he's not perturbed by that. You know, he doesn't need to touch the ball all of the time, but he's always stretching the defence. He moves. He knows when to stand still. He's very clever, and when he gets that opportunity around the penalty area on that right hand side, he just cuts in, and his vision and his guile with that wand of a left foot he has. It's just we want to see him. I want to see him next year in the Premier League. I want to see him sign a new contract for Liverpool Football Club. I really do, because we're blessed to be seeing players of his quality in this great division.
Peerless at the moment is Mo Salah, and so important to Liverpool. Let's get reaction to this draw for Liverpool, and no man better to tell us about the 90 than their manager. Here's Arne Slot.
Well, Arne, watching that, it was a great game. It ebbed and flowed. What was your take on it?
The same. It was a great game. Going in at halftime being 2-1 down, it didn't feel as if the game went for us like that. I was disappointed with going in. Of course, we conceded just before halftime, but felt we were playing really well. And then we came back second half, scoring 2-2. Got some good chances to make it 3-2. And in the end, the ball could have gone in and then we would have lost it. So great game to watch. Two teams played really well. But I'm not happy with the results if I look at all the chances we had today.
Yeah, you just touched on it. Did you not match your usual very high standards at both ends of the pitch today, both defensively and attacking-wise?
Yes, I did feel that we defended really well, because I can't come up with a lot of their chances. So the only thing I'm not happy with is if you play a big game, an away game at Villa, that's a difficult one, and you need to have a neutral set-piece balance or a positive one. But we conceded one, didn't score one, and then it's hard. But still, we were able to get a result, and because we scored two very good goals, and I think we've created more than enough chances to score the winner. But final minute, it could have gone their way as well.
I know that there was talk about maybe there being a bit of nerves in the Wolves game that you won at the weekend. It didn't feel like there was any nerves or anxiety today. It was just an end-to-end game. Yeah,
but there wasn't nerves at Wolves as well. We've played Wolves away. We beat them 2-1 in the final 10 minutes. Were tough for us as well. So if you defend the lead, it's tough. But all of a sudden now people talk about nerves. But for me it isn't. These players are used to this. They're used to playing for trophies, for winning a league or winning a Champions League or winning an FA Cup. So it would be quite fast already to have some nerves. There's only 12 games to go. Today we played really well, but that also has to do with the style of play of the other team, because that's totally different than the style of play of Everton and Wolves or Plymouth.
And if you look at the table, it's still pretty good reading. 8 points clear. That's not bad, is it?
No, of course. Although Arsenal has a game in hand, but every team has to play every team twice. And now this week for us is Villa away and City away. Yeah, you know that stuff. But again, we didn't lose. Again, an away game in a tough fixture. Where, in my opinion, if I look at all the chances we had compared to them, we deserved more, and that's the only thing we can blame ourselves, that a few times too much now we didn't got what we deserved, and we must not make a habit out of that.
If you look at all the chances we deserved more is the overwhelming message from Arne Slot. Is that the headline for you as well, Danny? A night of missed opportunities, a wasteful night in front of goal?
Well, I said it before he came on, and I knew he'd feel that way, because when you play the game, you generally judge your performance on the chances you create in the final third rather than possession stats or anything else, because it's crucial. Are you cutting open the team you're playing against? Are you making chances? And if you don't put them away, you always feel disappointed. And I knew he'd feel like that. You could sense it with Virgil's interview as well. Whereas I think there's other games where they haven't got the result. I suppose Everton's a good example, where they didn't open Everton up that much. They didn't have as many chances as they did tonight. So it's probably a bit more of a fair result. The key is creating that level of performance again at the weekend. Because if they play that well in terms of attacking wise and create, having runners, making chances, getting the ball in good areas, they'll cause City problems. But they've got to tighten up a little bit. They've got a bit lax recently defensively. Not as many clean sheets as earlier in the season, that's for sure.
Yeah, there wasn't one tonight either because even though they were leading 1-0 and in firm command, with their first opportunity on target, Aston Villa equalised, and this came from Tielemans.
Yeah, from the set piece, a good delivery in from Marcus Rashford. There's a decent enough header from Konate. There's a little bit of a pile up there, and Tielemans just waits out of the melee, just hoping that's going to arrive to him.
It's clever, that,
I said at half-time, it's a bit like Tarkowski when Everton put pressure on him in the last kick of the game at the Merseyside derby. But he scuffed that one in.
I think Jones gets caught ball watching a little bit, gets dragged towards the ball because he did have Thiele. He was close to him and then he just drifts in following the ball, which happens when you're protecting your goal. Clever from Tielemans.
It's what happens, isn't it? Everyone wants to just go and win the first ball, instead of keeping your position. But when it falls to Tielemans, just make contact. It's not great contact. It's not like Tarkowski's one where he rips the net off the back. I mean, he scuffed it in, he's bounced it in, and they all count the same. So, fantastic from Villa's point of view.
It's kind of exactly what he talked about when we spoke to him pitch side, just saying, waiting for that second ball. He kept position all the time. He was just watching and waiting.
Yeah, anticipation. I mean, he's played a lot of football matches, so he knows where that ball might end up coming. And it comes on his wrong foot, really. He's a gifted player, he can play off both, but his weaker foot and he hits it into the ground. It's not the cleanest of strikes, but like I say, they all count. Gets them back in there.
And then still more to come from Villa in first half injury time. Sent them into half-time in the lead, and it came from Ollie Watkins, the man who put Villa 2-1 up at the break. Yeah,
they end up with an overload because Salah's high, doesn't track Luca Digne, which he doesn't normally do. I think it's Gravenberch trying to get across. But the 2v1 means he's got time to put the cross in, and then Watkins makes a great run. It's a brilliant finish. You could argue he should be picked up sooner or one of the centre-halves. But if you look here where he's coming from, if you follow him now, look, it's hard for the centre-halves. You've already got bodies in there. Yeah, if you're being a perfectionist from Tim's managing point of view, if he's looking at it as a coach, you always want your defenders to spot danger. But actually, from an attacking point of view, great cross, great time in a run and execution ahead. It's a pretty good goal, Tim.
Yeah, just Virgil on the one I'm looking at there. He just comes out there, reads the situation late. He almost comes just to try and put him off and run in front of the ball, see if he can put Ollie off. But he keeps his eye on the ball and he steers it into the bottom corner. It's a clinical finish from them.
So at that point, it's 2-1 to Aston Villa at half-time. We said in the break there would be goals. The score wouldn't stay like that. And pretty shortly after the hour, the goal came, the equaliser from Trent Alexander-Arnold. It did take a deflection of Tyrone Mings. But let's have a look at it now, because this is how they equalised. Once again, Liverpool seemed to slice them open with such ease, Danny.
Yeah, well, at this point, it was Villa going after them, leaving gaps, and that's really great for Liverpool. Trent getting himself forward. The ball to Salah. When you see the slow-mo here, when Tielemans is doing a good job trying to track Trent, he goes to help Digne because he knows Salah's got him. That leaves Trent free, gets a moment. You know what a good striker the ball is. Gets a bit lucky. Don't know if it's going in or not. Can't really tell from that angle. Comes off Mings, sorry, yeah. And then they're back in the game. And then all of a sudden, Villa were on the rocks. Liverpool really going after them then.
I don't think Arne Slot has made many wrong calls, but for me, I thought it was a wrong call bringing off Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think if I'm Unai Emery, I'm thinking thank you for that, because the boy's a threat. Every time he gets the ball, it wasn't his most fantastic game, but he delivers crosses. He's got an eye for a pass. His range of passing is second to none. And him and Mo Salah, telepathic the way they link up, and you saw that with the goal. Any deflection pass when you shoot a goal, if it goes on target, the goalkeeper never ever save it. The only chance is deflection wide. So
I thought he played well, Trent, tonight. I don't think he brought him off because he was playing badly. He's only just got back fit a couple of weeks ago. Maybe there's a bit of that, or maybe he just wanted to shore up. We don't know. But I do agree on his level of performance and the quality he's got, and he showed in the game. I was a bit surprised.
Yeah, Connor comes on and gets injured, so now Trent has to play.
Yeah.
So it's one of those, you're better off getting the game out of the way. If you feel like you're more likely to take maximum points with Trent Alexander on the field, keep him on the field.
So he scored that goal, the equaliser that could have been a winner. Another decision from Slot to bring on Darwin Núñez, and this was so frustrating to watch, wasn't it, Dan?
Well, there was a few frustrating moments tonight in terms of finishing. Very unlike Jota. This was a great move, great ball from Bradley. I think Szoboszlai should finish that, but he squares it for Darwin Núñez, and I think that's his first touch after coming off the bench. Now, he's just got to control himself and slow himself. He tries to absolutely muller the side foot and really hit it hard and firm instead of just rolling it calmly, or even could have dummied him and cut inside. It's a big moment for him because he's going to face criticism now.
Yeah.
And then this one, Tim, as well. You think he should be braver there, don't you?
I do, yeah. I'm not sure he was fully committed to that. You know, he didn't have a good night, that's for sure. It's difficult. Look, coming off the bench is very, very difficult. Misplaced passes, but the first chance, I don't care if it's his first touch or his 100th touch, you have to score. Yeah. All you got to do is let it hit you on the left foot and it rolls into the bottom corner.
If you were Szoboszlai, would you have gone yourself?
In hindsight, yeah, but hindsight's never been divorced.
Do you know what? do you know why I think he should have? Because he had loads of time. So the distance between him and the goalkeeper was easy. You could side foot it either way. But Szoboszlai's not full of confidence in front of goal. He hasn't scored enough. He's a terrific player, but it's a great run. This is what we were talking about before the game, Tim, that willingness to run in behind. See, now he's got time. Either way, he just slots it and he doesn't have to square the ball to Darwin. It's a strange decision from Szoboszlai.
We'll give Disasi a little bit of credit, never give it up, full stretch, you know, diving in at the end.
It's the first bit of credit you've given him.
Yeah, perhaps I thought that's the only bit he deserved.
To be fair, if Núñez had scored it, we'd have said, oh, Szoboszlai unselfish.
You would?
No, good, yeah. But after the event, he could have slid it down the side. Martinez is very difficult to beat. He's one of the best goalkeepers in the world.
Do you know what I mean by the distance, though?
Yeah.
He's got enough distance to just slot it.
Yeah.
And he overthinks, and then as he gets closer, he squares it.
Yeah.
I think goal-scoring midfielders, the best ones we've seen, would never be side foot, would never be squaring that from... Because he actually squares it to outside of the posts.
Yeah.
He's not squaring it for a tap-in centre of the goal. Yeah. He's centre of the goal, he's squaring it, and the ball ends up outside of the posts.
Yeah. If that's Mo Salah, we know that where that ends up. We know that. They're all getting back to the centre circle to kick off. First half, we saw Jota with a bun in the perfect position on the left-hand side, whips it round. We think he's going to score there. He's obviously going to score, you know, because that's him. This is Trent reading that one very, very well. And that's a decent enough header.
For him?
I mean, that he has to score. I think he has to hit the target. Not necessarily score. This is a difficult chance.
That's half a chance,
Yeah, Jota had a few chances tonight.
This is the one. This is it. This is it. This is what he normally scores. He normally scores these like you think Mo Salah would have tapped that one in. He actually set himself lovely for that one because he gave himself the ability to go either way. Yeah.
He's just completely mishit it or hit a bobble. This is a great effort. Snapshot, little bit of bend. Great move this was as well. That's just unlucky.
Yeah, that was very
And so many times Jota's scored crucial goals for him. He gets in great areas, doesn't he?
Gets in front, gets at it first. He's very good in the air. But with Darwin Núñez, I mean, he's almost a cult hero there from coming off the bench. They like because he scores some big goals at the right time, but he needs to be scoring them sort of goals. He needs to. And never ever does he get a chance where I think, well, that's an easy chance for him. I think everything. I think the fans must be looking through their fingers when he has a chance because they're never sure if he's going to score. It's not like Mo Salah. I know he's different, Mo Salah. He's an extraordinary player. Jota, with that one, I've always fancied him to score. But whenever Darwin goes through, whether it's clean through, whether it's on his head, whether it's an easy tap into the goal, I'm holding my breath until that ball hits the net.
Fan base is more split now. Has been for a little while.
Yeah.
The goals at Brentford when he come on got him out of the mire a little bit, but he's missed some big chances, and I think some of the fans are actually starting to think we need another striker.
And certainly that one to make it 3-2 will stand out and will be talked about. It's one of those chances that Arne Slot talked about when he mentioned in his post-match reaction that there were too many opportunities that Liverpool missed tonight. We got more post-reaction from a Liverpool point of view. Here is Alexis Mac Allister.
Well, Alexis, it was a great game to watch, a very intense match. How do you reflect on a point?
Yeah, definitely very intense, and the game we expected. We are disappointed, of course, because of the result, but we understand that this is a tough place, and a point is a point, so we have to take it and move on.
Did you find enough intensity yourselves in the way that you would normally play the game again today? Did you feel like you had a control of that match at any point?
Yeah, I think maybe second half we looked a little bit tired, and I think it's pretty normal when you play 3 games in a row every 2 or 3 days. So we expected the game to be like this, and then the changes helped a little bit. So that's really important because we will need everyone in these upcoming games.
Is there a bit of tiredness in your legs at the moment? Because there's been so many matches, you've given so much already. There's Manchester City next, there's Newcastle next week. These games are coming thick and fast, aren't they?
Yeah, as I say, I think everyone is a little bit tired. No one will say it, but we have to keep working, focus on resting and preparing for the next game because we have a really important game against Man City and, as you said, Newcastle after.
8 points clear, 12 games to go. Is there any sign of a light at the end yet? Can you see the finish line yet?
No, not really. I think it's going to be a long way. We have to give our best to keep getting the points that we need, and then at the end we will see. But there is still a lot of games, and an important one like the one we have to play against Arsenal. So it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult, but I think if we are together with the fans and everyone at the club, then we can make it.
So echoing the sentiments of his captain, Virgil van Dijk, that they are disappointed, bless you, that they are disappointed to not have taken the full haul of points tonight. I'm sure everyone in the dressing room will agree, but there is still a long way to go.
Stay calm in the driving seat. We saw Slot's interview before the game, and he was talking about even if they didn't take maximum points in the next 2 games, City at the weekend and this one tonight against Villa, they would still be top of the league. With limited amount of games to go, and Arsenal have to go unbeaten. They have to go unbeaten. They're the ones who are chasing. So, good to have guys like that. Wins a World Cup. You've got winners there. The Virgil van Dijks, the Trent Alexander-Arnolds. These guys have been there and done it and won Champions Leagues and won Premier League, so they know what it's like to cross the line. Everyone always says, "Oh, they get nervous," because I always found it nervous. But these guys have been there before and they've done it. But there is an element of nerve. They'll play it down, of course they will. I think we talked about Andy Robertson coming out, and saying about nerves. I think he was saying it for a reason because the anxiety, what the cop were breathing onto against Wolves, so he was saying calm down because he's trying to send a message to the fans to say there's enough anxiety as there is. We need your help. Just keep us calm. We've got the good players. We'll create the chances. We'll win the games to collect that trophy. Because this is different now. This is a chance to win it in front of the cop, in front of their own fans. Last time they did it, albeit it was very hard. It was COVID. It was behind closed doors. This will be the real time to win the Premier League.
He was asked about fitness there.
Yeah.
I didn't see a tired Liverpool late on. I saw Villa getting back into it late on because Liverpool were trying to win it.
Yeah.
But the legs look good. And I loved Arne Slot's interview the other day when he was asked about the tiredness and fatigue, and he said these players are fit, they can play every 3 days.
Yeah.
And I love that because there's no blame culture, there's no excuse.
Yeah.
It doesn't give the players an excuse. And I saw all of them running and trying to win the game and bombing forward, and Curtis Jones was sprinting back and Robbo was running forward.
Yeah.
I didn't see a tired group. I saw a determined group trying to win.
Yeah. I never see a tired team who wins every week. Or the majority of the weeks, they all want to be part of it. They want to play in the big games towards the end of the season. You show any sign of tiredness, your manager might leave you out, and then you don't play in the big games when they're lifting the trophies. This is the last time you want to start showing tiredness. This is the time when the pictures get taken. You want to be at the front.
Let's look at the games that are coming up. Let's look at the next couple of fixtures for Liverpool and for Arsenal, who are just behind them in second, of course, 8 points behind them now. There you go, confirmation in the race for the title. We're in the run-in. We have the new run-in ball and everything to prove it. So here's what's coming up. It's Manchester City away for Liverpool to complete a tough week of away fixtures in the Premier League. Newcastle, Southampton, Everton, Fulham and West Ham. Arsenal play West Ham on Saturday. Then Nottingham Forest, Manchester United, Chelsea, Fulham and Everton. A couple of teams that they both play, notably Fulham and Everton, West Ham as well between them. Whose run, I don't even want to say tougher because everything is tough.
Well, I think if you look at it, Liverpool have got 4 home games out of the next 6.
Yeah.
And Anfield's a fortress. I would rather have 4 home games out of the next 6 than 3 and 3, which is what Arsenal have got. And, of course, 2 of them at Forest and Man United. Now, you could argue going Man U It's been an easy ride for a lot of teams recently, but Man U showed against the bigger teams they'll put up a fight. They went to Arsenal and won in the Cup. So I think, although Liverpool have got City at the weekend, I'd rather have those 6 games than Arsenal's.
I agree with you. And not only that, Danny, I look at Arsenal's fixtures and their home games are London derbies. And we know how difficult it is. We both played in London derbies. No matter, even if it's not your main rival, it's very difficult, you know, because they take a big following away with them and there's always a rivalry, especially the Chelsea game. Chelsea can hurt anyone, you know, on their day. I mean, they're having a good time of it at the moment. But these teams, when I played in a side who was going to a club who were chasing for the title, no matter who it'd be, there was something extra on it. You want to be a party pooper, you know, as sad as it may sound, but that might be the only thing left for your season is to try and spoil someone else's. And that, you know, them fans of Chelsea and Fulham and West Ham, they want to spoil Arsenal. They won't want Arsenal to win the Premier League.
Yeah.
Lots of twists and turns to go. I think there's still going to be some twists and turns.
Yeah.
Close to the 3 points, pushed at the end, but how do you feel about settling for a point?
Good evening. The draw, I think, is fair for both teams because they had as well chances to score. But we know against Liverpool, always you have to try to get your moment to attack and to get chances like we had. And always try to be as well competing until the last moment. And we did it. We started losing, but we were more or less competing well, and we came back the result the first half, and we were excited, motivated for the second half, and we were the second half more or less as well, keeping the same structure and idea. Of course, when you are winning like that against Liverpool, they can score like they did. And then the last minute, we were close to a I think it's further result because they played more or less controlling of the game in 70 minutes and winning, losing, and with the draw. But the last 20 minutes, we were getting more option to win.
The first goal that you conceded, that's 12 goals from an error from a Villa perspective this season. Is that something that you can't really control and it's just the players just have to switch on and step up for that type of thing?
We are analysing everything and trying to get our best in our tactical idea. Of course, some action like that, so when we are building up, we are taking some risk. We are avoiding a lot of times the risk when we could lose the ball. But today they scored, but we are not changing our idea and trying as well to work, improving.
Is this more the performance levels that you've been looking for?
I am always trying to get better.
Always trying to get better. Well, they are winless now in 5 Premier League games and just 2 wins in their last 9 for Aston Villa. He also talked about the mistakes, not like the errors, and there were plenty.
Far too many. Yeah, far too many from playing out from the back when the goalkeeper's set. Probably goal kicks, you know, it was just a slow build-up. It was an aggressive press from Liverpool. Just waiting for that mistake. I think it's good anticipation there from Trent. He just jumps from his position, and they should do better with a header.
The thing is about varying your game. So if Liverpool come and press nearly man for man, so in this, if you had a wider angle, you'd see how many Liverpool players got in the Villa are. But when you've got someone like Ollie Watkins, who's as quick as he is and as willing, every now and again you've got to switch it up. You've lost the ball a couple of times. It's up to the goalkeeper to be, you know, these chances are coming from their mistakes. It's up to the goalkeeper to use experience and go, you know what, I'm going to fire a few long. Ederson does it probably the best for Man City when he does the long one. I mean, he's a better striker of the ball, but use the pace you've got because it's not as if they haven't got that option. Yeah. And I just think so many times we watch Premier League football now and you see teams reluctant to mix the game up more. Yeah. And the players have to take some responsibility for that. Yeah. Can't always be the coach. He can set a philosophy, but use your football IQ. He's an experienced World Cup winner. It becomes predictable in the end, you know, if you continue doing it. Sometimes you've got to break it up, change it, you know, jab them off you a little bit, you know, and play over the top. We see Liverpool do you think players are more worried now about them being told off to make their own decisions? Yeah. I think so. I think that's what happens now, you know. I'm not sure he's a stubborn manager. There's some managers who would say, no, you have to do that at all costs. I think he will give him a little bit of leeway. I really believe that. When they had John Duran, they used to go a little bit from back to front because they feel like because he was a big guy, you know, he could hold the ball up, physicality, the midfield can get up and support. Liverpool do that.
They go long, but they go long to Mo Salah. If the ball's into him, with the trajectory of the ball, you know, it doesn't have to be a floated ball so someone can come over the top. Mo Salah, with his body strength, is just strong. You know, it's that diagonal from Virgil van Dijk into him. He holds it up. He takes them up the field. They're out. The midfield, Sloboslai's on his bike. Jones is in there. They can start playing in the opposition's half. And then the next time, when they all drop off because they're worried about the diag, then they can go and play and there's more room to play. It makes sense. It's just footballing IQ.
It's a night of kind of mixed bag for Aston Villa, mixed emotions, because while they're disappointed, they did take a point off the best team in the country right now. But then there were mistakes from them, which we've shown. Not all of them were punished. Then there were also opportunities at the end to win it for Aston Villa.
Oh, look, I think Villa in the last month or two will be disappointed because the quality they've got, and at times this season have shown performances of such a high level that they'll feel they should be higher in the division. I know they've tried to mix this campaign with the Champions League for the first time, which is difficult.
Great pass.
Yeah, great ball. Some of these moves late in the game, I mean, yeah, it's end to end. It's both teams trying to win it, but this is the quality they've got. And actually, the ability to bring the subs on, he did. Yeah. You know, he brought on Ramsey, Marlon. Yeah. He moved Rodgers into a central area, and it gave him a new energy. And he hasn't quite had that option recently. I think they had a good January. This should help them in the second part of the season. I think this is the last chance they had, Tim, wasn't it? Late in the game, Marlon, who did all right when he come on.
Really like this boy. He come in with a great attitude. You know, he thinks he's coming there. He was just going to come and start some games. But he's come and been a part of the squad. He's had to come on late on the game. He comes in with a correct attitude. And this is inches away from Nelson in the bottom corner. He got all excited. Did Unai Emery, and so did you used to see Arne Slot's face.
So did every Arsenal fan watching as well.
Yeah, Daniel Marlon very, very close to winning it at the end there, echoing his manager's reaction. Very
Rashford
close
did well as well.
Yeah,
he looked fit, fresh, at it, better appetite, better desire, caused Liverpool problem.
Yeah, well, let's have a look at Marcus Rashford and his involvement tonight. As you mentioned, you thought he did well.
I thought he showed, like, this type of thing is, with the ball, never worry about him, but he's lost the ball with a bad touch. He's back in position really quickly. There he is, bam, win it back. They're the little details that we're missing. The explosive stuff with the ball, we've seen, you know, he's capable, he's happy when he's got the ball, but I think, as we talked about earlier, I mean, that's unlucky, but look at this for a tackle, bam. That's against Canati.
Do you think, Danny, it's because he knows his job out of position now? And before he never, or do you just think it's a willingness to want to run around?
I think it's that, and I think it's also...
That was great.
That's brilliant. It's just a tad unlucky. He's well played offside there, but again, willingness to run in behind it. But I think it's that, and I also think it's something you touched on earlier. A manager who's completely straight and clear in his demands, and he knows if he doesn't do it, he won't start. Yeah. And he knows that the fans will soon turn again. He's got a fresh start, but the manager is completely, well, he's strict. He's set on what he wants, and he gives him a very clear indication of that, and you can see it. He doesn't seem confused in anything he's doing, does he?
No, it's quite clear. I think he's making it simple for him. Wants him to play there. If he wants to float at times, someone has to balance off on the left-hand side and go and express yourself. Do what you're good at, but you can't just conserve your energy for when you got the ball. You're not that good. Our team are not that good. We have to play out of possession as well. And what I want you to do is when you lose it, react straight away and get back. Because the first 10 yards you run quick, it saves the rest of the team a lot of legwork. Because if you run slow your first 10 yards, you end up running 50 yards very slowly, and perhaps the ball ends up in the back of your net. So reaction. Boom. That's what he's been doing the last couple of games.
Biggest change.
I know it's still very early, though. He's only played a half against Ipswich, a half here tonight as well. But this Rashford renaissance that we're all talking about, we're all looking for, we want to know if it's going to happen. Are the signs there?
The signs are there, yeah. The signs are definitely there, but it's been far from, you know, what we'd expect and what we've seen in the past from Marcus Rashford. But what we need to start seeing from Marcus Rashford is consistency. You know, performance and consistency. What we'd like to see, first and foremost, is a nice smile on his face. And I think he looks happier. He looks happier in himself, you know, playing for Aston Villa at the moment.
It's amazing how quickly the good things start happening to you again when you do the bad things well. So, you know, if you run about and you help your team and you get back in shape that Tim's talking about, you get a bit of luck and the good things happen for you. You know, that one where he's offside on the give and go, that goes for you next week. He keeps getting himself in good areas and his body language is good and his energy is good and his attitude. He'll get the luck.
We're going to go back to Villa Park now and get some more reaction to the thrilling 2-2 draw between Aston Villa and Liverpool. Standing by for us now is Ollie Watkins.
Ollie, you had chances at the end of that game. How are you feeling?
Yeah, it was a tough game, you know. They're at the top of the league for a reason, so we knew it was always going to be tough with them coming here. But, you know, we've got a strong record here at home and we always make it hard for teams. So even though we found ourselves a goal behind, we reacted well and, and went ahead. So, yeah, I think we played well. We deserve minimum a point and like you said, we had chances. We could have nicked it at the end there.
Do you feel you raised the levels tonight, the performance levels that you've been perhaps looking for, that Unai Emery's been calling for?
Yeah, I think so. He's been really demanding of us. You know, we haven't been performing as well of late. So, he's always on to us and, like I said, very demanding. So I think he'll be happy with that performance tonight.
How did you find it up at the top there? You've got some new friends around you.
Yeah, it's good. So many talented players, you know, in the squad. And even lads coming off the bench. So, yeah, it's nice playing with quality players. Didn't get too many opportunities, but I'm sure in the future games that I'll get some and they'll definitely find me.
Is that all about building the relationships now with like Marcus Rashford or whoever starts on the left and the right?
Yeah, and obviously they haven't had that long to show what they can do. We've only had a couple of games, so they're still finding their feet, new surroundings. But you know, when they get a few runs, a run of the game under their belt, then I think it will flow and it will connect together nicely.
Look, it's a point against the league leaders in a really busy period of time. How are you all coping with it? And what will this give you moving forward for this next period?
Look, I think any team that we play, you know, we want to win the game, no matter where they are in the league. So we just focus on ourselves, you know, keep trying to win here at Villa Park, improve our away form and then see where we are come the end of the season.
So no wins in the last 5 in the Premier League for Aston Villa. How much of that is down to them trying to manage in Europe as well, do you think?
Yeah, we can always use that as an excuse. I'm not too sure. I think I think they had a very good window. I think and then some of these guys are still trying to settle into the way Unai Emery wants to play. So I can only see a positives going forward for the remainder of the season. Yes, the Champions League's going to start again. They've done brilliant to qualify. No, I see there's 2 games. Yeah, there were 1 game against Liverpool and 1 game against Arsenal amongst there. There's a few draws what they could have gone their way. I think it'd be a massive result for them if they beat Chelsea at the weekend, because 2 teams who are fighting for the 4th place or 4th or 5th, you know, because it looks like it might be 5th place for the Champions League qualification in the Premier League now.
Yeah, as you mentioned, great recruitment as well. Yeah. You know, Rashford and Asensio both starting tonight. Given what that front line looks like now of Villa, do you think it's only a matter of time before they get back to winning ways?
Yeah, I think they've got many more options now. There looks to be a bit more creativity and energy back in the team. I think the problem he had during the up until the window was that he did play the same team a lot. Yeah. And he did have a decent squad anyway in terms of numbers. He might not have felt that in terms of quality. Yeah. But, you know, Duran didn't play as much as he should. You got Maatsen, you got lots of players who didn't get many minutes. And I felt that more recently, before the new recruits came in, there looked to be a bit of fatigue from all the games. Because if you've never played a European campaign before, I know some of them have, but at Champions League level, it's different Europa League level, Conference League, because the opposition you play some weeks is at a level where you can cruise. The Champions League, every game's a monster game. Yeah. You know, you saw the energy levels against Munich, against Leipzig, whoever else they played. And if you're not used to it, you do have a dip. Their results in the Premier League after Champions League games is poor. Yeah. And that's normal in your first season.
And they've had crippling injuries to defensive players as well. But we don't make a big thing about it because that man, as a manager, he just never ever talks about it. A lot of other managers want to keep harping on about the injuries. Everyone feels sorry for us because he doesn't, because he thinks, and I believe him, it sends out a wrong message to the ones you're actually bringing into your team. So for me, he does it in a correct way. But like, we don't mention it. But we're going to mention it tonight, Unai. Not you. We're going to mention it.
He's been a breath of fresh air.
Centre-backs they've had crippling injuries to their first choice centre-backs. Diogo Carlos, they sold as well. So, you know, they didn't need that. They've strengthened in the offensive areas. They're missing players. Once they get them back to fitness, I'm sure they'll be in and around 4th or 5th in the Premier League by the end of the season.
So a big point for them tonight against Liverpool. Let's go back to Liverpool, though, because a big week on the road for them, the first of which was tonight at Villa Park, and it ended 2-2. They've got another one coming up on Sunday against the reigning champions, Manchester City. They go to the Etihad, a place where they've not had a great record recently. I think unbeaten and not having a win in the last 8 against Manchester City there. How are you feeling about that one?
Did you have to bring that up?
Yeah, I've been told about 3 times to bring it up and to ask you how you feel about it.
All records are there to be broken, aren't they? I think my understanding is that Gakpo will be back. We'll have to see. Doesn't look good for Conor Bradley, but Trent looks here. He didn't look troubled when he come off, so that's fine. But you've got to win big games to win the title. I actually don't. Even now with the points the way it is and the fixtures we've just seen, I think if they get a point and they remain undefeated on the road, I don't think it'd be the end of the world.
I looked at the teams tonight at Real Madrid. No Erling Haaland on the bench tonight, so it looks like he's injured. That would be a big plus for Liverpool. You know, Kevin De Bruyne on the bench. You know, yes, they've got good players, Man City, and they can hurt any team on their day. But you'd have to say you get them at the right time if that big man up front's not playing.
Stones injured.
John Stones injured, so a lot of injury problems for Man City. I think it's a very good time, especially if Erling's not fit with that knee injury. I think it's a good time for Liverpool to go to City.
Yeah, and also about City needing to react, obviously having lost in the Champions League. They're out of it now. Liverpool, you know, it looks to be the changing of the guard in terms of the title.
Yeah.
City are still the defending champions, not the best season for them. Psychologically, where will City be at ahead of this one?
Well, City still, it's important that they finish in the Champions League. You know, they've still got their job to do. It's going to be very competitive fighting for the Champions League. So they need the points as well as Liverpool and as well as Arsenal do. But I think the title race, it's light at the end of the tunnel, I think.
But he said
it's not closed.
He said the door's open a little bit, he can feel a bit of a breeze, right?
That's right. That was a good explanation from Danny, that.
Yeah.